The Kh'reth battle strategist stared at the holographic display with what passed for confusion among his species. His inner eyelids flickered rapidly as he processed the data streaming in from Earth's surface. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Not at all. Explain to me again, he chittered to his subordinate. How removing their technology has made them more lethal. The junior analyst's tentacles writhed nervously. Supreme Strategist, we've lost another 3 collection outposts in what their historical records call the American Midwest. The natives are using primitive projectile weapons, compounds bows, and something called black powder rifles. Our shields are calibrated for plasma and laser weapons. These arrows and lead balls simply pass through. The strategist's skin shifted to a deeper shade of violet, a sign of mounting frustration. 6 months ago, the plan had seemed flawless. Humanity's dependency on electronics was their obvious weakness. The species had built their entire civilization on a foundation of silicon and electricity. Take that away, and they should have crumbled. The coordinated EMP strikes had been perfect in their execution. In a single day, every major power grid, every computer network, every piece of modern technology on Earth had been reduced to smoking silicon. The humans' mighty militaries, their surveillance systems, their communication networks, all gone in an instant. Victory should have been assured. Instead, Sarah Martinez adjusted the leather grip on her longbow, her calloused fingers finding their familiar position. From her perch in the ancient oak tree, she had a perfect view of the alien patrol route. They'd been following the same pattern for weeks now, their arrogance making them predictable. Their crystalline armor might stop bullets, but it did nothing against arrows tipped with hand-forged steel. The world had changed dramatically since the day the lights went out. Sarah had been a software engineer then, spending her days writing code and her evenings playing video games. Now she was a hunter, a warrior, part of the human resistance that refused to bow to alien dominion. She smiled grimly, remembering how her grandfather had always insisted on teaching her obsolete skills. Archery, horse riding, navigation by stars. She'd humored him then, never imagining these ancient arts would become humanity's salvation. The alien patrol came into view, their bioluminescent skin casting an eerie glow in the pre-dawn light. Sarah drew back her bowstring, the motion as natural as breathing. The first arrow found its mark in the lead alien's eye cluster. Before the others could react, 2 more shafts whistled through the air. 3 targets, 3 kills. Silent, efficient, primitive. The humans are using their own history as a weapon against us, the analyst continued, projecting images of Earth's various resistance movements. They've adapted faster than any species we've encountered. When we knocked out their electronics, they didn't panic, they regressed. They're fighting us with techniques refined over thousands of years of their own conflicts. The strategist watched footage of human cavalry units charging alien positions. Horses, simple beasts that required no electronics to function, thundering across open plains. Riders wielding steel, swords that couldn't be jammed or disabled. Primitive siege weapons hurling rocks that passed right through their most sophisticated shields. In the urban centers, the analyst went on, they're using something called guerrilla warfare. Small units moving through ancient tunnel networks, using hand-drawn maps and messenger runners. We can't track them, can't intercept their communications. They're passing information through a complex system of drums and horns. What about their governments? The strategist demanded. Surely without their electronic infrastructure, they've reorganized into smaller, more autonomous units. Tribal structures, they call them. Each community is self-sufficient, making decisions locally. There's no central leadership to target, no critical infrastructure to destroy. We took away their technology, and they simply adapted. In what had once been London, master blacksmith James Chen worked his forge with methodical precision. The hammer strikes rang out in a steady rhythm, shaping hot steel into arrowheads. Around him, the converted warehouse buzzed with activity. Former office workers now apprenticed in ancient crafts, learning to work metal, wood, and leather. Another batch ready, James? Emily Wong called out as she entered, wiping sweat from her brow. Before the invasion, she'd been a quantum physics researcher. Now she headed the Resistance's Weapons Development Division, finding new ways to combine ancient knowledge with their understanding of alien weaknesses. James held up a freshly forged arrowhead. Just finished the new design you suggested. Threaded core, designed to fragment on impact. Should play hell with their regenerative abilities. Emily nodded approvingly. Perfect. The Fletcher Guild is waiting on these. We got a raid plan for tomorrow night. She paused, a hint of irony crossing her face. You know, I spent my whole career pushing the boundaries of future technology. Never thought I'd end up revolutionizing Bronze Age weapons design. Funny how things work out, James replied, quenching another arrowhead in oil. My parents wanted me to go into software engineering. I chose blacksmithing because I loved the history, the connection to our past. Never thought I'd be helping save humanity with it. Around a campfire in the mountains of what was once Colorado, Maria Blackhawk shared stories with a group of young recruits. Her grandmother had been one of the last traditional Native American storytellers, and now those stories were helping to save humanity. Our ancestors, she told them, lived in harmony with the land for thousands of years before electricity was ever harnessed. They knew how to read the weather, track game, move unseen through forests. They knew how to communicate across vast distances without phones or internet. She gestured to the drum at her side. Every rhythm has a meaning. Every smoke signal tells a story. These aren't primitive methods, they're tested ones. Proven by time. The Kh'reth strategist report to the High Command made for uncomfortable reading. The humans were not only resisting, they were winning. Slowly but surely, they were pushing back against the invasion forces, using methods so ancient they might as well have been magic to the technologically dependent Kh'reth. They're teaching each other, he wrote. Knowledge that should have been lost to their history is spreading like a virus. Every human we kill seems to have trained 10 others in their arts. They're not just surviving, they're thriving. Their population centers have dispersed into smaller communities, each one a fortress of primitive but effective technology. He included footage of human ships, massive wooden vessels with cloth sails, attacking Kh'reth watchtowers along their coastlines. The humans had remembered how to navigate by stars and wind, while Kh'reth ships floundered without their guidance systems. Most disturbing, he continued, is their morale. The humans seem to take pride in their regression. They speak of returning to their roots and remembering the old ways. They sing songs of their history as they attack our positions. They tell stories of their past victories to inspire future generations. We haven't broken their spirit, we've awakened it. Around a campfire in the mountains of what was once Colorado, Maria Blackhawk shared stories with a group of young recruits. Her grandmother had been one of the last traditional Native American storytellers, and now those stories were helping to save humanity. Our ancestors, she told them, lived in harmony with the land for thousands of years before electricity was ever harnessed. They knew how to read the weather, track game, move unseen through forests. They knew how to communicate across vast distances without phones or internet. She gestured to the drum at her side. Every rhythm has a meaning. Every smoke signal tells a story. These aren't primitive methods, they're tested ones. Proven by time. The recruits listened intently, their faces flickering in the firelight. They were a diverse group, former tech workers, students, business people, all learning ways of life they'd thought consigned to history books. The aliens thought they were advancing their invasion by targeting our technology, Maria continued. Instead, they forced us to remember who we were before all that. To remember that humanity's greatest strength isn't our tools. It's our ability to adapt, to survive, to pass on knowledge. The High Command's response to the strategist's report was immediate. Full withdrawal. The cost of maintaining their position on Earth had become too high. The humans' primitive weapons might have seemed laughable 6 months ago, but no one was laughing now. As the last Kh'reth ships prepared to leave Earth's atmosphere, the strategist found himself pondering the strange paradox they'd encountered. In trying to cripple humanity by taking away their advanced technology, they'd forced them to remember older, simpler ways that proved far more resilient. The humans had turned their own history into a weapon, transforming what should have been a weakness into their greatest strength. They'd adapted in ways the Kh'reth, with all their technological superiority, couldn't comprehend. 1 year after the EMP strikes, Earth was a changed place. The great cities had largely emptied, their populations spreading out into smaller, more sustainable communities. People had learned to live without constant electronic connectivity, rediscovering the joy of face-to-face interaction and practical skills. Sarah Martinez stood at her archery range, teaching a new group of students. The aliens thought they were punishing us, she told them, demonstrating proper bow technique. They didn't understand that everything we built, all our technology, came from these basic skills. By forcing us to remember them, they just made us stronger. In his forge, James Chen continued to improve upon ancient designs, combining traditional blacksmithing with modern metallurgical knowledge. The weapons and tools he created were simple but effective, a perfect fusion of past and present. Maria Blackhawk's network of drummers and signal fires had evolved into a sophisticated communication system spanning the continent, proving that humanity didn't need satellites to stay connected. The aliens had come to Earth expecting to find a civilization crippled by its dependence on technology. Instead, they discovered a fundamental truth about humanity. Their greatest strength wasn't in their machines, but in their ability to adapt, to remember, to survive. The EMP strikes hadn't destroyed human civilization. They'd forced it to evolve, to become something more resilient, more sustainable, and ultimately more dangerous than anything the aliens had anticipated. In trying to push humanity back, they'd pushed them forward in ways they never could have predicted. As the stars wheeled overhead, humanity looked to the future with new eyes, carrying forward both the wisdom of their past and the lessons of their present. They had been tested, and in returning to their roots, they had found not weakness, but unprecedented strength. The aliens had created a paradox indeed. In trying to destroy humanity's power, they had only revealed its true nature. And if they ever returned, they would find not a weakened civilization, but one that had learned to be strong in ways that technology could never match.